All right, you're on.
Hi, I'm David Esrati, and I'm running for Congress. Uh, Sorry about yesterday. We went down to the Tim Ryan rally at 3, and it didn't even get started till just before 4. We put that video up on my Electors YouTube channel so you can see Tim Ryan speaking about the PRO Act, which is a movement to make it easier for people to unionize, collective bargain, strike, all the things that need to happen in these giant corporations like Amazon or Starbucks or Apple stores, where the workers may or may not be getting paid well, but are back to working slave-like conditions and dangerous conditions, especially when it comes to Amazon. Now, I think Mr. Bezos, if he can afford to be building spaceships, can afford to pay his employees and make sure that they have a safe working environment, but that hasn't been the case. So Tim Ryan, he's a state rep. He's in the House of Representatives. He's running for Senate to replace Rob Portman, so that we would actually have 2 Democratic senators from the state of Ohio. Considering his opposition is pretty much funded by a right-wing fascist named Peter Thiel, and his claim to fame is writing a book talking about his mother being a pathetic, drug-addicted loser, Appalachian. Look at him, how he went off to Yale Law School. I think we can send J.D. Vance back to writing books, making movies, and kissing Trump's tail. So, not only that, we got back late. We started up, and our internet connection was shot thanks to a window washer on the Kettering Tower. Now, that probably doesn't make sense to you because most of you don't get your internet from the top of the Kettering Tower. But yes, we have 2 internet providers here. One is fiber from AT&T, and the other is a point-to-point radio system from the roof of the Kettering Tower to my office that delivers a signal straight point to point, and the window washer screwed that up. According to my screen over here, it doesn't tell me, it says, I can't see what's going on, but you're welcome to comment and ask questions, although I may or may not see it since somebody didn't update the screen. But today we're going to talk about what Steve Bannon said before the election and what it means to all of us. Now remember, just before Trump got out of the White House, he gave Steve a big old presidential pardon. And that might have been just for the other crimes, but the reality was back in October of 2020 or 2019, before the election, or 2020 before the election, he was already laying out the whole plan on what Trump would do if he was losing. Basically saying, hey, the election's been stolen, I won, and start throwing people away and locking them up and telling everybody, I'm the king. Got bad news for you, Mr. Bannon. That's kind of treasonous behavior. We were going to play the tape, but you can hear it on Mother Jones. Unfortunately, because we had to switch our internet over, one of the things didn't work quite right, so we couldn't get it running for 4 o'clock. But if you go to Mother Jones and look for the Bannon tape, it's about 1 minute and 40 seconds of an excerpt of about an hour-long tape that basically has Bannon saying everything, almost the point of, oh, we're already making a movie called 2,000 Mules to dispute this thing in advance of it all. But he didn't go that far. But the whole scheme, the whole plan was to deny that the election was legit if Trump was losing even as early as 11 o'clock that night. So, at some point or another, this country has to come to grips with a small group of Trump loyalists, of people who were willing to commit heinous crimes to keep Trump in office, who are ready to subvert everything we believe in and everything we swore to uphold as soldiers, as legislators, as public officials, to say the whole thing doesn't count anymore. Your vote doesn't matter. Is serious stuff, because this is why things are falling apart the way they are. We don't trust anybody. Trump told us we have fake news, so all of a sudden the journalists are bad for reporting the truth about a guy who was planning to subvert the election whether he won or lost. It's this kind of thinking, it's this kind of us against them that is tearing this country apart. And it just has to stop. Now, let's talk about Tim Ryan yesterday. You know, if Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema have been ticking you off as a Democrat, the easiest thing to do is elect one here to replace Rob Portman, who is a Republican, and that negates one of them. We negate another, and all of a sudden things change in the Senate. We find 8 more across the country, and all of a sudden things start moving again. Because Republicans at this point keep saying no to almost everything, including my opponent, Mike Turner. There are real implications this election. And this election won't be won by Democrats or Republicans. Why do I say that? Because they are both minority parties when you figure out how many people are not a member of either party. They're undeclared, who consider themselves independents, who are new voters, who are young, who might just say it's time for a change. The problem is neither party has enunciated a real plan. The Democrats haven't said one, the Republicans haven't said one, other than the Republicans saying they're bad and the Democrats saying, oh my God, all your rights are going away. No, neither have a plan. That's one of the reasons I talked about things like high-speed rail yesterday. It's why I talked about a voter information system. It's why I've talked about a donor registration system. It's why I've talked about making it easier for small businesses just to pay their payroll taxes. I have ideas. I have plans. And when it comes to things like gun control, yeah, I've got a plan for that too. But, you know, the reality is I can't see anybody of those 434 other congressmen ever understanding the fact that there is a difference between having a semi-automatic weapon and being a part of a well-regulated militia. Being part of a well-regulated militia means your weapons are in an armory. My solution to this is quite simple. Take every semi-automatic weapon, put them into those armories, make these people show up in uniform, train, make sure those weapons are safe, secured, and when they want to come out and play war, they do it with like members so we can keep an eye on what's actually going on with these weapons. The guy who walked into the school in Texas was not part of a well-regulated militia. The guy who shot up the supermarket was not a part of a well-regulated militia. It's not about good guys or bad guys. It's a matter of unregulated guys. Real soldiers, real militia, aren't out by themselves walking around with these weapons. Ever. We can fix that. And the way to fix it isn't to sit there and pass laws to lock up the guns. It's to say that every courthouse, every federal location, the Capitol Police, all go away. All their security, all their defenses, their metal detectors and everything else. Because obviously, if these people can run around with concealed weapons at will in the general population, there should be no exclusion under the 14th Amendment for members of Congress, members of the judiciary, including the Supreme Court. Let's see how long they like it when they don't have those protections. It's sort of like the policy of, why does anybody in Congress have health insurance if everybody who elects them does not? We need to have health care, not health insurance. I know these are all bombshell ideas to throw around and get people all upset, but hell, if the other team's talking about negating an election and getting away with it and having people follow them and believe them, all bets are off. We can talk about anything. The question is, are voters going to be smart enough to go out and educate themselves and figure out who they have to vote for to get things they deserve, like real health care, not involving a health insurance company, not involving the government choosing the price to allow people to price drugs through the roof. I saw something on TikTok, that highly trustworthy social media stream showing Bernie Sanders talking about Moderna's CEO getting paid $900 million after we sunk $2.5 billion into his company to subsidize them in order to make the vaccine. Now, I'm glad they made the vaccine, but one man getting $900 million of our money, I'm a little bit perturbed, because if I was an investor, a private investor, and I sunk $2.5 billion and I'd want some of it back before I go pay somebody $900 million. We have a real problem in this country. It comes down to we have the best politicians money can buy. I can't be bought. My opponent, he can be bought. So I'll be back tomorrow at 4. Hopefully we'll have everything working. I'll put the link to the Mother Jones article in the comments below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, hit the little notify bell, and you'll get an email the moment we go live and get notified of any videos that we post. If you want to find out more about the campaign, electors.com. If you want to donate, electors.com/donate. Tomorrow's the deadline for campaign finance reports, where we will find out how much money was given to Mike Turner by people out of state and political action committees from companies that he likes to support that support the base. Because remember, Mike Turner works for the base, not for you. In my list of donors, there'll be some surprises, and I'm just waiting for someone to start complaining about all of my money seems to be going to my ad agency to produce things like these videos, my commercials, my advertising, my website, my printing, everything else. But hey, nobody seemed to care when Mike Turner used to pay Lori Turner, or when she got contracts from the Defense Department when he was sitting on the House Armed Services Committee. So that's something to look at tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Didn't see any comments or questions, but hey, I'm not even sure we got this online effectively, but I appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.